want to take your pose transitions from looking like this to looking more like this? Well, this video is your key to figuring out how to do that. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to choose two poses. You can either make them or take some poses that you already have. I have all of the Gacha Club poses, which I copy and pasted from this Google document that I will put in the description. I did not make these codes, but the person who did is very awesome. But anyway, you're going to want to copy the code, and I'll kind of put it, I'll put it right over here. It is a tiny bit different, the head moves, okay? I'm realizing maybe I didn't need to do that, but it's okay for the sake of the video. Then you're going to want to get your other pose, and so, yeah, here we were. You are going to want to put it in the fourth spot, so with two in between, and you'll see why that's important in a second. So you're going to want to copy it into here. So what we want is to have a smoother transition between this pose and this pose. It's not bad right now, but what we can do is we're going to copy this pose and paste it here, and we're going to think about how Fern's arms and head would move to get to here, and we're going to move them just a little bit. About 2 or 3 for the head. Head movements are really, what's the word? Head movements are very noticeable. They're very big, so you don't really have to move the head that much. We can move the arm a bit more. I used to move the limbs less than I do now, and I don't think it matters all that much. Obviously, if the arms are going to be moving more, you're going to want to move them more than if they're not. And sometimes these in-between poses look really funky. In my experience, it looks okay in the final, but like this looks odd. But it'll look okay in the final, I promise. So yeah, you want to move it a little bit, and this other arm, yeah, this part right here goes up in the final, but not that much. And I think, but to be up there, it's probably going to go over their body as opposed to out. That just makes more sense. And probably want it to be on top of their body, I think. I don't know, that might be weird. Here, if I made that more like, yeah, okay. So again, these in-between poses look weird. In my experience, it turns out alright. We'll see. Okay, and then you're going to want to take this one, and you want to copy and paste it. And you're going to want to move it again just a little bit out. We're going to go a little bit backwards here. I'm going to move this arm a bit back. We're going to move this down. And we are going to move that a bit forward, and this one a bit down. So, oh wow, their arm looks detached. Okay, I think their arm is just far up here. Okay, that looks relatively normal. Okay. And of course, I can't take screenshots while I'm recording. You're going to want to go into Studio. And why are you rotated? And you're going to basically you're going to take a screenshot of this and then go back and change it. And you can change the pose in Studio. I normally go back here, and a big reason I do is you might actually want to move other parts of the character, like especially if you have a character with long hair. bring up Corrupted Fern for a second. If their head moves, it moves the hair a lot, and sometimes it looks really weird. Like that's not how hair works. So I'll come over here and I'll move the hair, right? And I will do that per pose. Like every time I change the pose, I'll look at the hair and I'll be like, the hair looks kind of weird. I'm going to move it. And to be honest, I'm not very good at hair animation, mostly because most of my OC's hair isn't very long. That might be a lie. Fern's OC, Fern's hair is not very long. So, but Luna and Stella's is long. It's not as long as Corrupted Fern. Corrupted Fern is like freakishly long hair. But I have noticed if you do a slight delay for the hair, it works a lot better. Like you take a screenshot of a pose, you move poses, you keep the hair the same, and the next screenshot you change it, and at the end you have the final screenshot, right? So once we get into this pose, that's the final pose. That's normally the last screenshot, but you might want to move the hair again for another screenshot. I know I'm just explaining this and not demonstrating. I hope it makes sense. Another thing you might want to do is you might want to move the tail. Like there's a lot of things you can move besides just the arms and the legs. In fact, to be honest, because most of my videos cut off the legs of the character, I don't actually move the legs that much. That's something you want to think about. You don't want to waste your time on parts of the body that aren't really going to be seen. You can also move the eyes. I normally move the pupils. I guess these aren't pupils, but Fern doesn't have pupils. I usually move the pupils by 2. Also, another thing you can do is blinking. I normally go 1, 2. That's one screenshot. Then you get the blinking. Oh shoot. Please don't show me an ad. I'm trying to make a video. Okay, you get the blinking, you take a screenshot of that, and then you go back to this. And then after you get that screenshot, you go back to this. So that is a total of, if you start here, that's a total of, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screenshots, which is one more than the poses are normally 4 screenshots. So that also might stretch it out a little bit. This is stuff you gotta plan in your head because you want to be doing it at the same time. Like if I want Fern to blink while they're in this pose transition, if their eyes were fully open already before this pose, I might go ahead and shrink their eyes, or I could wait until this pose to shrink. I could shrink their eyes here, take a screenshot of that, make them blink here. Yeah, I'm not going to take out the highlight, you get the point though. Make them blink here, we're going to go here, we're going to go back, we're going to take a screenshot of that, and then without changing the pose we can make the eyes bigger and take a screenshot of that, you know? So that works just fine. I often make my characters blink during the pose transitions because, to be honest, because it's easier for me. It also looks more natural sometimes for them to blink while they're moving. I don't know why, but making your characters blink every certain point is very important, especially if you're doing the animation that looks more realistic. It's going to look very odd if your character is just staring off into space or just staring into the viewer's soul. So that's something you're going to want to keep in mind. For a lot of these other eyes, like I might make Fern do this. I don't do an animation for this because I feel like it would just pop up. So I just switch to these when I want to switch to that. With something like this, I might do a full blinking animation though. It really depends. Like this one, I wouldn't do a full animation for. I would just switch it. So it's really up to you what you want to do. In terms of the mouth, so a lot of times I change poses for every like line of dialogue that the character is doing, and so oftentimes I change which mouth they're speaking with during the pose, just so they're not speaking with the same mouth the whole time. I do not do any fancy lip syncing. If you want advice on that, there's plenty of videos out there, but do not come to me for help on lip syncing. Or if your character's starting to speak, like this could be Fern's mouth in this pose. And then also I would do it in this one. I normally do 2 screenshots for the mouth. Nothing too fancy. Sometimes I've started like in the Dave the Intern video. I've started thinking about so a lot of times I just switch from like, hold on, let me scroll, from like speaking mouth to speaking mouth or something. But if you want to have it closed in between, like this starting pose, let's talk about this. This starting pose could be an ending pose. This pose is an ending pose for this, whoa, I didn't touch that, for this sequence, but you might put another pose right here, and this would be the starting for that, right? But please stop lagging. Okay, but saying this is a pose this is a pose we might sit in for a while. These two, oh, that's why I forgot to mention, when you're editing, you want to make these at 0.1 second. You want to make these appear as short as possible. I can show you that in a second actually, but I will explain that here. So yeah, second's too long. 0.1 seconds. Where was I going? Right, the mouth. So I normally do, this is the neutral one. We're gonna go over here and 1 2 3 1 2 3 is what I normally do for that. And then here is where we switch to a different mouth, and then when we get over here we make it we put it back. If you want to put a closed mouth in between that would be another screenshot. I would recommend doing that. I need to start doing that more because I feel like it looks a lot better. But yeah. So yeah, that's how I do the mouth, and I think that I have explained about everything. Oh, except one thing. I have noticed in some older videos, like here, this Stolas video, a lot of my animations looked really stiff. And I think a big reason for stiff animation is that, like here, the arms move and the head move. The body does not move at all. So if I wanted to make this more dynamic, I might do something like this. Give me a moment to actually do the thing. So I'll want this to be actually leaning, let's say leaning backwards. And when you have the torso just rotating, I've found that it helps the animation be more lively and less stiff. Because when people are talking, I'm just comparing to see if I put the arms in the right place. They look good where they are. But when people are talking, they don't like stand completely still. They might lean forward or lean back. Because we're in like 2 dimensions here, I can't really make Fern lean forward or backwards. I can only make them go side to side. I'd say it's especially important for this kind of thing. So yeah. And yeah, when you move the torso, you're going to have to readjust the arms and the head. And I just kind of compare it to, I can even compare it to this, to just make sure that hole and the line on their head is in the same place on the neck. That's really important. The shoulder moves a little bit, but it looks natural. So that's just something that you're going to want to check. And then, yeah, once again, how much did I rotate this? So I rotated this by 4 degrees backwards. So I think I'm going to do, I'm going to want to rotate this one backwards. Yeah, that looks good. So we're going to rotate that one backwards, and once again we're going to want to move the arms over here. And up here, put the arm in front there. And I also move the head a little. And then we're going to take this, and on this one we're going to lean forward. I think 1 is fine. Move all the arms and stuff forward. Make sure it looks alright, it looks good. And then we're gonna wanna lean the head back a bit. Take this out a bit. Take this down a bit. You know, just like we did last time. And the arms disconnected again. Yeah, and then there we have this. This looks weird. Hold on. There we go. It's a lot of trial and error, I would say, which is why you want to tap through these real quick, make sure it looks good. I like the way I did that a lot better. How did I do that? Okay, it's further down. I got less picky about this, I think. Yeah. But yeah, there it is. There's the animation. And alright, I'm going to next show you how you're going to want to edit this. Alright, so I have added all of the screenshots I took after I stopped recording here. And yeah, you'll see this is the first pose, and I also started blinking right here and moved the mouth, right? And so again, what you want to do is this pose, since this is like the beginning of the video, this might last for 0.1 seconds, but just for the sake of me demonstrating how this goes, I'm going to keep that kind of long. You're going to want to take this one. It used to be when you push this all the way back, it went to 0.1. Now it goes to nothing, and I feel like it's kind of too fast for me. So once you put it there, you can pull it out a little and it'll click to 0.1 seconds. That's my preference. And yeah, there you go. So here we are. Oh wait, I forgot. This one is a blinking. So this one's going to be at 0.12. So yeah, never mind. Here we are. See, isn't that so much smoother? It's only like 5 screenshots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's only 5 screenshots, but it looks a lot smoother. I will say, only 5 screenshots. It does take a while because you have to make the poses, you have to move all the little parts of the character you want to move. You can put a lot of effort into this and make it look really good, but it is going to take a while. I typically reserve this type of animation for when I actually feel like trying hard. Also for shorter videos or shorter segments of videos. So yeah, it's up to you when you want to use it. You don't have to use it all the time. but it is very cool. It's very cool. It's very great. And if you want to do longer animations, like I have an example right here of this hat flip that Luna does in what is still a working progress, if not me. I haven't given up yet. It's been like a year or something, but I still do want to finish this at some point. But this I did with kind of the same method of just moving everything a little bit for each screenshot. Obviously the hat flip was an overlay in keyframes, but like Luna moving is all screenshots in Gacha. So you can do a lot with this method, or you can just make cool pose transitions, whatever you want to do. My advice again is to just move each body part just a little bit into the pose that you want to have. It's very important you know where you want to go, right? Because if I didn't know I wanted to go here, I might end up at a weird place. That's why you want to designate pose 1, pose 2. Okay, so how do we get there? That's the way that I like to think about it. And I think one of the awesome things about copying pasting all the codes from the Google document I talked about earlier that's in the description is I kind of have a better starting point. As you see with this pose, this is the one where Fern leans back a bit, but it's at least a starting point that you can get like inspiration from, and you can just adjust it a little bit to your liking. That's been very useful for me, because like I was just struggling to even know what pose I wanted my character to have, and now I don't have that problem. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to ask them in the comment section. I will do my best to help you figure out whatever it is you want to figure out, but I think that is it for today's video. I'm sorry if this was a bit disorganized. I did not script it. I just wanted to explain as much as possible. So yeah. Anyways, have a good day and farewell.